So I'm going to go over a few key innovations of R.I.S.E and then continue the discussion on Ethereum transactions. The first key innovation of R.I.S.E is its cryptocurrency, the large coin, which is a labor-backed currency. It cannot be issued in near infinite quantities like central bank currencies, nor can it be loaned into existence like credit and fractional reserve banking, and neither can it be mined into existence like Bitcoin. It is intrinsically limited to the amount of accredited labor performed by members in accredited community groups. The large coin cannot be funneled to cronies or elites. It is distributed directly to each member whose work qualifies for payment and to those performing work for the R.I.S.E system itself. The second key innovation of R.I.S.E is the peer-to-peer accreditation system, which establishes the trustworthiness of all participants based on the verified results of their work and the accuracy of their accreditation of peers. Digital evidence of completed work, for example, low-resolution photos submitted by third parties, are correlated with verification submitted by peers. Those who fabricate claims or falsely accredit others lose their own trustworthiness, ranking, and membership privileges. This system enables participants to accredit their own skills and trustworthiness, a type of social capital that they can take with them to other groups. I call this mechanism accredit yourself, as the power to earn a high rating of integrity is available to each member. The system is self-funding. The labor required to operate the R.I.S.E system is paid in large coins. The development and management of the software engines does not rely on volunteers, as in many open source software projects, or on venture capital. Contributors are paid in large coins issued by the system itself. For-profit versions of the software are encouraged, with the only stipulation being the owners of third-party versions will also be paid in large coins. The system does not require external funding or unpaid labor. All it requires is a market for goods and services priced in large coins. The third key innovation of the R.I.S.E movement is the global market for goods and services priced in large coins, enabled by the R.I.S.E marketplace, similar to Craigslist listing of goods and services for sale. But it is not limited to the R.I.S.E marketplace. Any R.I.S.E member is free to trade their large coins or products in an outside market. All right, so now I have now getting back to what we're learning here. And if you want to learn more about R.I.S.E, its innovations, and the key principles of R.I.S.E, please look for my book on Amazon.com, Meaningful Work by Luis Daniel Cortez, and I'll provide a link below in the show notes. All right, so now I've defined a transaction as being an object that provides the transfer of funds from one account to another. So back with this diagram here, where I said I would use the Web3 library to create a transaction object. After that object is created, that same Web3 library is used to send that transaction object to the R.I.S.E test network. The transaction goes out to the network, and then we wait for the transaction to be confirmed. You might have asked yourself, well, why did we wait 30 seconds to confirm that transaction? I'm going to start diving into the Ethereum blockchain. The Ethereum blockchain material is quite complex. This is not just learning to write some code or copy-paste style. People behind Bitcoin and Ethereum were thinking about a financial system to replace Federal Reserve notes. By definition, they knew they had to create a system that was robust enough to handle trillions of dollars in value that are being transferred between people every single day. These systems are complex because it has to solve an incredibly difficult problem: the representation and transfer of trillions of dollars between people on a global scale. So we sent the transaction off to the R.I.S.E test network, and we're going to answer the question why we had to wait for 30 seconds for confirmation. So let's take a look at another diagram. And I'm going to first pull up that diagram and then share it with you guys. Let's see. All right, this is the one. Minimize this and go to the new share. All right. And I'm going to adjust this a bit so you all can see it. Okay. So here we sent our transaction off to the Ethereum network. To be precise, it was the RINC-B test network. And we sent it out. It went to a very particular node. To be precise, the transaction always goes to a specific node. So our application is always going to be transmitted to one specific node, and that node will be communicating with the rest of the nodes in the network. Later on, I'm going to show you what node I was connected to and how I can change that. For now, just understand that I sent the transaction to one particular node. So now I'm going to show you another diagram. First, I want to pull that one up as well. Okay. Pull this one up, and I'm going to resize it as well so you guys can see it as best as possible. All right. All right. So once there, the node has an entire copy of the blockchain. The blockchain is essentially a database. So let's leave it at that for now. Now, keep in mind, my transaction was not the only one in the world. There are other people in the world who want to submit transactions as well. Maybe these transactions were submitted simultaneously. Let's say that there were 3 transactions submitted simultaneously or at the same time that I submitted mine. So 2 others in addition to my transaction. And they were all submitted into the node and they became part of the blockchain, right? So on to next diagram. All right, so I'm gonna enlarge this diagram so you guys can see that clearly. So my transaction is represented by this letter T, and the other people's transactions is represented by the letter O. And they all become a one list of transactions, which we refer to as a block. The node then runs some validation logic on this block. That validation logic is what takes 30 seconds. So what is the validation logic? Well, you may have heard the term on the news or on TV about mining. When these transactions get assembled into the block, the node starts running some calculations in the block, and those calculations are referred to as mining. The process of mining is where things get complex. So in the show notes below, I'm going to offer a video by one blockchain about blockchain mining by Anders Brownworth. Anders' discussion of blockchains and how they work is a must watch if you're going to continue to follow my videos. So don't continue watching my videos until you have seen the Anders Brownworth videos on Blockchain 101, and I'll have the link below.